The most important video out of them all, how chiropractic works. Okay, in the beginning we have two cells. We have the male cell and the female cell. And when these two cells join, a bioelectrical infusion of life starts. And as the scientists watch, the cells, they begin to multiply and multiply until it looks like this little raspberry. And as it grows and it grows, it's going to form the very first organ of the body, the brain. Now, as the brain continues to develop, all of a sudden these fibers, they begin to grow down from the brain and it starts to form this line. And we call this line the spinal cord. Now, as the spinal cord develops, we begin to see more and more of these fibers. They start to grow outward just like this, and we call them nerves. And then what happens is at the end of all these nerves, all the organs are formed, all the glands are formed, and all the muscles, right? Because at the end of one nerve, of course, the heart is going to form. At the end of the other nerve, the lungs are going to form, then the stomach, then the intestines, and then of course all the muscles into the arm, hands, and fingers, legs, feet, and toes. All this forms with the direct connection from the brain. In fact, the brain is the most important part of your entire body. And I don't say this because it's my opinion. No, this is a scientific fact because your brain is more protected than any other part of your body. How? Because it's completely shielded and encased with hard bone, your skull. Now, sure, your heart's important, but it only has a few ribs to protect it. Just know that the brain is number one. Its power is what starts life, and without power, it ends life. Now, your spinal cord, it also gets its protective case of bone, and we call them vertebra, right? One stacked on top of the other. Now, unlike the brain, this is a movable case of bone. And of course, it has to be this way, so that way you can bend, twist, and move around. Just never forget that 100% of life resides in the brain. Now, I've got a question for you. How much of that energy and how much of that life do you want going from the brain down to your heart? What about your lungs and your muscles? How much power do you want getting to the rest of your body? And the answer is, of course, all of it, right? You want 100% of it. How often? All the time. For how long? Forever. This is what health is. 100% power from the brain coming down, powering the entire body. Now, what happens is throughout life, because all the things we do, the bending, the twisting, the falling, the sports, the weightlifting, the car crashes, the bumps, the bruises, the car rides, the airplane rides, the picking up the children, the picking up the boxes, all the things we do from kindergarten, high school, all that stuff. It can and will and does, and 100% of people cause these vertebrae to shift out of their normal position, and it's going to stretch and compromise the spinal nerves, especially the top bone in the neck, right here, the atlas bone. This one right here is the most vulnerable to injury. And what happens is when this one up here misaligns, the ones below it are also going to compensate and misalign, right? These ones are going to choke off the nerve supply to the rest of the body. You see, and it's an above-down science, not ground up. Because if you break your neck, everything below it will not work. But if you break your back, is your neck still going to work? You betcha. And keep in mind, as the scientists show us, the pressure from just the weight of a nickel is going to choke off the nerve by 60%. And you cannot live life like that. So how important is it that all nerves are powering the body at 100%? It's very important. Full nerve power to the heart, full nerve power to the lungs, full nerve power to each eye, each muscle, okay? So we want full nerve power at all times. So what do we need to do? We need to make sure all 24 vertebrae in your body are in their correct position. And it all starts with what's closest to the brain, the top bone in the neck being most important. This is my job, right? To make sure that the head and neck is in alignment. And if not, we need to get it there as gently as possible. All because we want 100% nerve power to the rest of the body. This is why every single person on the planet should get their neck checked and their spine checked continuously. We want to feel great forever. We want our bodies to work great forever. We want that for ourselves, and we want that for our families, our kids, our coworkers, right? We want to be truly healthy, and chiropractic is a key component of that. All right, that's all I got. I hope this inspired you. Please help me help more people, because the truth is nobody understands the health detriment from walking around day to day with a crooked neck and a twisted spine. Okay, feel free to share this video with anyone that you may have thought of when watching this. Other than that, take care.